We are live with another edition of Let's Talk Broncos with your host, Kurt Valenti. Good evening, Mr. Valenti.
Let's go. Let's go. How do you not start off a show like that, Mrs. Valenti? I want to give you a shout out too, for a wonderful, again, for a special birthday weekend, a couple nice presents, a nice dinner, and you did a fabulous job with Thanksgiving.
Well, thank
So I
you.
want to give you a major shout out for that. And little heartbreak on Saturday with my Auburn Tigers, but bounce back on Sunday, baby. 5 in a row. Hottest team in the NFL, in playoff contention. Who would have thunk it after a couple of weeks ago, Mrs. Valenti?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised with your claps because it seemed a little excessive because we were counting them before, and I thought you only did them in groups of 7.
Well, I have a lot going on right now.
Well, while you're continuing to finish your tagging and posting, let me just recap a few things. You guys just finished your regularly scheduled K&K show on Wednesday evenings. Tomorrow night, you'll return with some more K&K with the Wits and Wagers segment. We have Clams and Claws on Saturday. Tomorrow night, I believe Kenny and Paul will be doing their Giant
8 o'clock.
show.
Yes, 8
Yep.
o'clock.
So a lot of professional and collegiate sports content coming your way. Our All In High School Sports has taken a brief hiatus on the week of Thanksgiving. We had a lot going on. Last night, Tuesdays are usually scheduled programming, but it was the last evening of playoff games. So we took a little break so that we could watch those games so that we could adequately report on them when we return next Tuesday as well.
Yeah, huge night of weekend of of high school state championships. So we will be back with that. Congrats to all the champions there. But Jen, let's just do this. Anytime you say to me, there's the clap emoji. Let's clap it up, baby. Let's clap it up.
There it is with
go.
Jody Moncrief doing the claps already. Thanks for checking in, Jody. Well, let's go. Let's get right into it. Let's get your opening statement for the evening.
Jen, I mean, from 1-5 to 6-5, the hottest team in the NFL. This team, we see them building right in front of our eyes. It's why it's why we traded for Russell Wilson. It's why we traded for Sean Payton. Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame quarterback, put them together. They're getting stuff done. This defense looks like the defense we thought we were going to have all year long. We'll get into Vance Joseph in a second. But listen, we're hot, man. We're physical. We have that physical mentality. We run the ball. I love, you know what I'm saying? And listen, I'm not I don't get into this. Kurt, Jen, does he clap in his sleep? I might start, Cody. I might start. But
you know what? I'm just gonna answer that because sometimes I'm downstairs and you're upstairs and I just hear the clapping out of nowhere. So
I clap for everything. I gotta start in the car and everything. But not to say about dirty players, Kareem Jackson, PJ Locke, and all that, but the physicality, like the mentality of this team. Right, of this team, of just how physical we are. It's how you win in this league, right? And I know I said week 2, I was ranting and raving saying, I want a defense like the 49ers. I want a defense like the Cowboys. Remember me saying that, Jen?
Yeah.
We got one. Because that's what we are. We run to the ball. We're fast now. We listen, we're smacking heads. We'll take 15-yard penalties. Let's go.
Let's go. Mr. Kirkpatrick checking in saying, good evening, Mr. and Mrs. Valenti. Glad to see no turkey hangover for Kurt, right? Because you did eat a lot of turkey. Thank you over the course of days. Thank you again for hosting me for an amazing few days. You're
Absolutely
welcome, Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Great time always having you here. He actually witnessed me. He witnessed an Auburn, Alabama game, and then he witnessed the Brown game. So I don't know. He was looking at me a little funny, I think. What do you think Saturday and Sunday, Jen? A little bit.
I don't know about that. Jody Moncrief is comparing your claps. It's like the bat signal, he's saying.
Yeah, let's go. All day long. Let's go. I'm pumped up. So that's my opening statement, Jen. I'm fired up, man. I love this team. I love the style. I think we can play with anybody in the NFL right now. This is how you win in the NFL. This is how you win big in the NFL. Run it. play defense, and have your star quarterback make a couple plays a game. It's the formula. That's what you have to do. And we got it. And you know what? It's not just me saying it or Jody saying it or Denver Bronco around them. You look at the national media now, right? When people are saying Broncos can pick anybody, top 10 team in the NFL. This team gets in the playoffs, they can win this. Yeah, we could. We absolutely could, because we're built. This is how you win. We're built the right way.
Well, speaking of Denver Bronco Roundup, we have Keith Brugman checking in as well with the clap emojis and a let's go.
Anybody claps, we clap.
Another excited Bronco fan. But Jody Moncrief was saying, but our quarterback doesn't throw for 350.
Yeah, that's just, again, the most asinine thing when the people, he don't throw for 300 yards. He don't do this. He don't do it's when, I guess when you're bored and you don't know football, you don't know football to start with. And then you're bored and you don't know what, you just start saying other crazy stuff. Just come out. I don't like him. Hey, no hatred for it. I don't like him. That's it. Say it, but don't make stuff up. This is how you win, boys. Not by throwing for 350 yards. You want to be Justin Herbert? Be Justin Herbert. We don't want that. I want to win. Run it. Play defense. Have our star quarterback make a couple plays a game. That's it. Make the plays when you need to make them. That's how you become a star quarterback, not by throwing for 350 yards.
All right, well, let's get into your recap of the Broncos' 29-12 win over the Cleveland Browns.
Jen, again, just I don't even know what, just a physical domination of this team, right? A 7-3 Cleveland team. I don't want to hear they didn't have their starting quarterback. I don't want to hear it. All right. You play with the hand you're dealt with. So I don't want to hear it. They won, they won in the past without them. So you bring them in and just a physical game. This defense, legendary defense, you haven't seen it since this. Ran right up and down the field on them. Russ threw it over the top on them. Our offense was just clicking and clicking and clicking. So, we can't score. We can't do this. For all those naysayers. I mean, did you watch this game? I don't think there's probably going to be no show this week, because you can't say it this week, because you took the number one defense in football and went up and down the field on them. Physicality, ran right at him. What an unbelievable, again, game plan from Sean Payton. That's why he's the best play caller in the NFL. It's him and Kyle Shanahan. Point blank, that's it. We got him. We got one of the best too, and you can just see night and day. And Jen, I don't want to be, I don't want to, bust chops with anybody, but has anyone watched the New York Jets, Jen? With Daniel Hackett. I mean, can anybody, if you're not just going to take last year and throw it out now? I mean, what a disaster. And hey, nothing personal with Daniel, but thank you that he is not on this sideline anymore. What a complete disaster. That's the Jets' problem. But Sean Payton, again, game plan. And then this defense, Jen, just like I said to you, just running to the ball, knocking people's heads off, attacking the quarterback, physical tackles. This is the defense that we should have had all year long. This was it. So, I can't be any happier. And you know what? Finally, something that didn't go down to the wire. A little relaxing in the fourth quarter. A little relaxing this week, Jen, being up a couple scores. So let's go.
All right, before we get into our next topic, let me just catch up on a few things here. Keith Brugman has a little foreshadowing from Mr. Keith Brugman. A lot of haters not willing to, quote unquote, eat crow now that the Broncos are winning. Kurt, what players or coaches do you need to eat crow on? Can we save that? That's coming. Yeah,
absolutely.
Alrighty. Jody Moncrief saying, just don't give up 4th and 30, LOL.
Well, you know what, Jen? What a game that was. And, I don't know if you remember what I said. I'm going to go back to my Auburn boys against Alabama. And I've always said we're a couple years away, but we should have won that game. And, you don't want to lose 4th and 30. You shouldn't lose that game. But, listen, I think the future is very bright over there, and I read a tweet where it said, Hugh Freeze, this is the worst team he will ever have. It's really not his team. I'm saying it's what he inherited, and this will be his worst team. So, and he's a great recruiter. And I mean, I'm just ready for Alabama for the next couple of years, but it's still a tough loss, but Sunday helped with that tough loss.
Keith Brugman saying that on a 5-game win streak, and only once have we scored under 20 points, and it was when you scored 19 against the Packers.
That's it. Listen, it doesn't, when you listen to people, it was Drew Brees, and there was some, this offense is not, it's not a Mickey Mouse offense like we ran last year. This is a Sean Payton offense, and he's tweaking it, to do what Russ does well, how we're built. And, just every week the offense is better and better and better. And listen, we haven't even seen, but again, I'll get to this in the next segment, but I love how we play. The style of play, I love this style. And this is the style of play I want to play.
All right, one more question before we move on. A question from Kenny saying, why so much hate still? Meaning, why after Russell Wilson fumbled on a great play from the Browns do those so-called fans bash him?
Because those so-called fans, they don't know football. They don't understand football. They don't, they look at fantasy football and, oh my God, this guy threw that and this guy threw, like, you don't win with numbers. You don't. You look at every level of every sport, right? Georgia, Michigan, they ran the ball 6 times. Georgia runs it down your throat all the time. We watched high school championships last year, right? We were watching Bergen Catholic, #1 team in New Jersey. They were throwing in a little here, throwing in a little there. When the game was on the line, what'd they do? Line up, ran the ball down Dale Barton's throat, and they win the game. It's how you win the game. So, you know what? When they bash them, again, it's people that are wrong. It's people that wanted, instead of Russell Wilson, Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, Brady Zappi, Teddy Bridgewater, and now they have egg on their face. They don't know what to say. Instead of just saying, hey, we were wrong. This guy is the real deal. He is the top quarterback in the NFL. They just try to make it, this, is he not going to fumble? I mean, seriously, is he never going to, it's asinine. It's just totally asinine. But again, let's not waste time with that. Russ is our quarterback. He's a top quarterback in football. Let's go.
Yeah, let's get back to the positive here. Comment from Trevor. This is a good segue to that. Broncos offense continues to get better week by week. That should be scary to opponents. Russell Wilson and the boys are continuing to get more comfortable in the pocket. Like I have preached, patience. And that's from Trevor.
Trevor's 1000% right. I mean, again, it's the thing is, it's not an easy offense to learn, right? Like they're saying year 2. I forgot who it was. I was watching somebody the other night. And they just said, it was a former player, and they just said how Russ is getting, listen, again, you get out of what happened last year, which was just a debacle. You bring him into a real coach, a real offense, and he's learning. But, you would say, like, look at the mistakes he's making. Mistakes. I mean, what is he, 20-4 now? 20 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's the best. I sent this to Jody the other day. Best quarterback in the red zone. I think it's like 17 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, you got to be out of your mind. You just got to be out of your mind. This offense is getting better and better. It's because we run the ball. We're getting Mims in now a little bit. Little speed, jet sweep with Mims. I love it. I love this. We got some people coming back offensively. You're going to see more shots. So, listen, I agree with him. Totally agree with him.
Kenny saying, you or anyone on here, try to learn 600 plays and tell me how you would perform.
Yeah, it's true now.
And Keith Brugman saying, Brandon Johnson activated off of IR. What impact does he have on this offense?
Yeah, great point, Keith. I mean, listen, Brandon Johnson, I want to say he had 3 touchdowns early in like 3 or 4 games before he got hurt. Listen, a bigger wide receiver, right? A bigger body. Another guy almost like, maybe a little thicker than like a Cortland Sutton, but a bigger guy, definitely in the red zone. He's a big red zone, maybe like some 3rd and shorts and stuff. We got to, get him the ball. And
I think Jody's throwing up some of his stats actually here. 34 for 50, 225, 17 touchdowns. Oh, maybe this is Russ. No interceptions, 116.7 rating, throwing in the red zone.
Now, let me just ask you something. We went from I don't know what the stats were last year, but we were, I believe, the worst
red
zone team in football last year. How does this red zone numbers look, Jen, to you? With Sean Payton. I'm serious, in 11 games.
A little different.
A little different.
Yeah.
17 touchdowns and no interceptions with 116.7 rating. He said to me it's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I mean, it's not. Like, so these numbers don't count, right? This don't count. This is what I want. I want you to, when it's clutch, that's what I'm paying my quarterback to be. Clutch, deliver in the clutch. I don't care about throwing a 4-yard pass and the guy runs 80 yards. Oh, he threw an 84-yard. No. Stop. That doesn't matter. This matters. Red zone, 17 touchdowns, no picks. What does this guy do in the clutch? What does he do in the 4th quarter? How many 4th quarter comebacks does he have? That's what matters. That's why you pay these guys, not for stats. Not for I'll show you Kirk Cousins stats for years. They're down 21 points and another 300-yard game, another three. He doesn't win them now. What's the point of it? He doesn't win.
All right, let's move on to Sean Payton.
Again, it's why you brought this guy in here. He did the I think he did the Fox Sunday pregame on Fox where he was just like, wow, I don't like what I get myself into. But what this guy has done the past couple of weeks and how he just has transformed this team and made them believers. Jen, we've always talked on this show about learning how to win, right? It's so hard to do. You just can't, you can't do what these fools said. Let's just tank and then, next year we'll win. It doesn't work like that. Those people never played. Those people have never coached. It just doesn't work like that in any level of football. You don't do that. So what this guy had to do is teach this team how to win. And you know what? He's done it. And you could just see the confidence, the swagger. We got that Bronco defense swagger back. We got that offensive, hey, you hear people saying we're going to line up and run right down your throat. And that started with that Kansas City win. And remember when I said you need a game where, again, you wanted to win, but you needed to tell Kansas City, I'm going to punch you right in the mouth. And you know what? I'm going to set the tone, not just for 4 quarters, but for the next 4 years. You're going to get punched right in the mouth from us. And you know what? They not only did it to them, they did it week after week after week. And now it was, here comes the bullies. Here come the big bullies, the best defense you've seen in years, statistically. Well, you know what? Take those statistics and shove them up your you-know-what. Because we ran the ball right down their throat. Myles Garrett Garrett Bowles, hell of a job, Garrett Bowles. Was Myles Garrett even there? This is Sean Payton and it's game planning, right? Like they're saying, you run a jet sweep on him. You run, zone read on him, a couple RPOs. He didn't know what he was doing. He had no idea what to do. And you're talking about one of the best defensive players in the game. And that's all because of scheme, right? You're taking the Daniel Hackett and some of these guys, it's going to be a free-for-all. And then he looks like an all-pro. He was non-existent. And that's because of scheme by Sean Payton. So scheme plus his keeping his team together and the belief. I mean, this guy's got to be in a running, Jen, for coach of the year. 5 in a row. Hey, and we'll keep going.
We got Carson checking in from YouTube.
What's up,
Hi,
Carson?
Carson. Thanks for checking in. Trevor saying that Sean Payton wasn't taking this job to rebuild. He saw something in the team last season, and coaching confidence goes a long way.
Yep.
Question from Keith Brugman. Kurt, this team has certainly used a rotation at running back, but if you had to name a number 1 running back, who would it be?
That's, I guess you still got to say Javonte Williams, right? You got to say he's the horse. P. Ryan. Listen, P. Ryan does an unbelievable job, especially in the pass game. But listen, he ran hard, Jen, on Sunday. We were watching that game, Kenny and I, and Kenny was high on P. Ryan. But what a 1-2 punch. And again, that's why I still love McLaughlin. Like, he's your Kamara. I'm not comparing him to Kamara, but like, he's our Kamara from the Saints, right? There's our big down back. So it's pound them, pound them, pound them. Now you bring in the home run back and boom, and that's why it's so beautiful, this rotation. But to answer that, Keith, I'm still going to say Javonte is our number 1.
Jody Moncrief was agreeing with you on that one. Well, let's get back to Keith Brugman's alluded to this next topic. He said, Kurt, who would you eat crow on? I'm not going to bring the picture in until I let you say who you are going to give an apology to.
Yeah, I'll look right in the camera. Coach Vance Joseph, I apologize. I didn't have faith in you. I didn't have faith in you as our head coach. I did not. I wanted to give you a shot. Wanted to give
warranted.
Right. Wanted to give you a shot as DC, but when you blow the lead versus the Raiders, you blow a huge lead versus the Commanders, you give up 70 against the Dolphins. I had no confidence in you. I said, this guy can't fix it. This guy's got to go. But to his credit, Jen, and hey, we got some guys back. Browning came back, and Simmons was hurt, and PJ Locke was out. But they made a couple moves, right? Mathis went to the bench. McMillan went in as our nickel. Locke came in as safety. We made some moves, and Vance, I'm sorry, buddy. I am sorry. But if you're bringing the heat, which I love, you're switching it up. We're getting to the quarterback. So Vance, hey, I apologize. And I'm on board. Let's go. I trust you now. Let's go.
All right, Kenny has a question for you, Kurt. He's saying, um, and also for the Denver Bronco Roundup guys, do you think is it Troutman can be a clear number 2 threat in red zone now, or was that just a rare designed play for him?
I don't number two, no. I still can't get him there. He's really not, and he's done a nice job, right? But he's like your average. Again, in my opinion, he's not a starting caliber, you know, 3 down tight end in the NFL, right? He's not that receiving threat. Listen, he made a phenomenal catch, but I still think that's missing. And I know Trevor, we were talking about this in the group chat today, and Trevor's right. Like, that's still the one thing that we're missing on this team is, and you know what? Like, now you give Russ basically, we're playing with our hand behind our back because we don't have that receiving tight end. If you give Russ that receiving tight end next year, and we do that in the offseason, or if Dulcich can become the player we think he is, listen, that just opens up when everyone's saying, well, he never takes anything over the middle of the field. Well, we don't have a target to get over the middle of the field. We see Hawkinson from Minnesota. We see even like Njoku and Kelsey and Goddard, like we don't have a guy like that. We hope it's Dulcich, hopefully, but I'm going to say no. I'm still going to say no. I still think there's better options than that.
All right. Keith Brugman saying he had to eat crow on someone, and he's saying it was on McMillan. He thought he was an undersized cornerback that had speed but no ability to cover or hit, and he was wrong. Jody Moncrief doing your claps again. And Trevor saying if the Broncos make the playoffs, does that cool down the chatter of the Broncos firing general manager George Paton? This team is winning with a lot of Paton's talent. Sean Payton said it when he took the head coaching job that he was a big fan of George Paton. What do you think?
You know what? Yeah, I think it does cool it down. But I'm going to be honest, I don't know how much that really matters, right? Because listen, George Paton is not making the calls on everything, right? This is Sean Payton's call. Penner makes the call, like Penner does his thing, but I think this is Sean Payton's team. I don't think George Paton is going saying, I'm going to trade this guy for this pick, or everything runs through Sean, and he's going to have the final say on that. So, I don't mind if he stays. I mean, he does. Listen, he does have a good reputation, like with draft picks and stuff like that. And I mean, he got I know he hired Nathaniel Hackett, which was a disaster. But listen, he still made the trade for us, which, by the way, what a steal. What a steal. All I kept hearing is Seattle this, Seattle that. Gino's going to Gino, baby. That's coming to an end. And just like Jody says, and Kenny, I think, said it, or you think Seattle would want Russ now? Tyler Lockett, Metcalf, right? And Jigba, what's his name? Smith and Jigba, whatever his name is. And you can't get the ball. You don't have a quarterback. You don't have a quarterback because you got Geno Smith. We got Shelby Harris and Noah Fant. But let's get that tackle. Let's get that tackle. What a steal. Hey, where's my phone? Call Seattle. What's the guy's name? Snyder, the GM over there? Listen, we'll give you another number one. We feel bad. We'll give you another number one because we robbed you on that. To get a franchise quarterback for what we gave up, steal of a trade.
All right, we got Keith saying in reference to your Troutman response there, I think you need to make Troutman your receiving tight end. I don't have faith in Dulcich filling the role this year and maybe beyond.
Yeah, I don't either. And it's a shame because he's an electric tight end. He's, fast, right? He's a decent size. He gets open. He catches the ball. It's just the guy's always hurt. So, but it is, like when teams, we have to double team Kelsey and you got to double team, you got Waller from Kenny Giants, teams aren't looking at it like, all right, we got to worry about Troutman. Again, nice player. He does a little of everything, but nothing great. So I just don't know how much we can make him like a receiving tight end threat. But listen, he's not hurting us. I'll say that. He's not hurting us.
All right, let's move on to our next topic, right? Here we are. Like you said, Kurt, the beginning of the show started off at 1-5, win 5 in a row. Why the turnaround?
Style of play, 100% style of play. And for all those people, oh, you can't win like this. You can't. I mean, what are you watching? Do you play? Did you play? Did you coach? Do you watch? Like, what do you watch? This is exactly how you win. Run the ball, play defense, be physical, and then have your franchise quarterback. And I'll be, listen, and I don't care who it was, whether it was Peyton Manning, John Elway, I don't care who it is. I don't want my guy throwing it 40 times. I don't want it. What I need him to do is on third downs, convert third downs, make big plays, right? Scramble, make a play, and throw a touchdown when it's needed. I need him to make 6 to 7 big plays a game. That's all. That's what I'm paying for. That's the difference in football, right? You watch the game the past couple weeks. The throw to Cortland Sutton in Buffalo, the throw to Cortland Sutton in Minnesota, the throw to Troutman versus Cleveland. Here's the difference. Teddy Bridgewater doesn't make those throws. Russell Wilson does. That's why I'm paying him, right? That's why I'm paying him. Drew Lock doesn't make those throws. That's why I had to go out and go get Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson makes those throws, right? Patrick Mahomes makes those throws. Aaron Rodgers makes those throws. That's why they're the best quarterbacks in the NFL. That's why they should get, that's why they get paid what they get. That's why I did it. That's what I want. I don't want, now, I'm not going to say there's never going to be a game because of a situation where we have to throw it a lot. Of course, you have turnovers. You have, your defense isn't never going to give up points. You're going to get down 14 to 21 points. Yeah, you got to throw the ball. But to win the style, how you win is you run the ball, you play defense, right? Run the ball, play defense, and have your star quarterback make plays when you need them in big situations. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want. That's what we're doing. And we have it all. We could run it, right? We could play defense, and we have our star quarterback who, listen, go make it, Russ, go make 6, 7 plays a game when the game's on. That's what we want you to do. And that's what he's done. That's what he has done. I don't care about stats, right? All these people, Jen, stats. The other 2 weeks ago, all I heard was, look at the Eagles. They went into Arrowhead and won. He threw 150 yards, Jalen Hurts. Does that mean he's not good? He threw 150 yards. But you know what? You beat Kansas City by running it and play defense. Hurts made the plays when he had to. That's why you pay him. Not because of stats. Who cares? That's what he got the job done in Philly. And that's what Russ is doing. That's what I want. I don't want 400 yards. You don't win like that on a consistent basis.
Listen, you'll take 400 yards if you're winning, but it's not that you have to have that. Yeah.
Watch look how the Niners do it. Look how Georgia does it. Look how Michigan does it. Look how these teams do it. The Eagles, right? The Eagles are a run-first team. They run the ball. They're one of the best running teams in football. That's what people don't understand. They look at, this stat, that stat. You can't look at stats. Stats mean nothing. They mean nothing. Nothing.
Let me get a few of these comments in here. We got Keith Brugman's going to make me read this. Pizza, Freddy Krueger, Caesar. Mm-hmm. Russ has been given the offense, and he's able to audible. Let's go. This is about why the turnaround.
Jen, it's why you get a guy like that. It's why you get a guy like that.
We got Kenny saying it's momentum. Win one game and turn it into 2 and so on and so on. Winning is contagious and it's spread throughout the whole team. And then we have Zoli checking in saying offense clicking better and the defense is showing up, being dominant as I expected them to be, and we weren't early in the year.
100% Zoli. 100% Zoli. And that's it's the physicality of this team on all levels. I love it. Hey, I love to 4th and inches. Go ahead, Russ, get the quarterback sneak, right? Just go ahead. Offensive line will get it done. But the physicality of how we tackle, just how aggressive. And we listened to, remember, Jen, we were listening to Benjamin Albright. What was it? The Kansas City Morning when he said, this is the game. I don't know. We got to take a 15 or 1 or 2 personal foul. Listen, you got to set that tone. Yeah. That's the kind of defense we have now. We're nasty, and I want to get back to Keith about a player that I was wrong about, and that's Nick Bonito. This guy's a bust. This guy, you know what? He's playing his what off. Keep getting to the quarterback. Keep causing chaos. That's what we need from Nick Bonito. So he would be the one player. Vance Joseph obviously is one, but the first player is Nick Bonito.
Right. Well, since you have this turnaround, you got to start to think playoffs. Are you a playoff potential? Does this team have playoff potential?
1,000% we do. and we're built for the playoffs. That's the thing. You just look at some teams, right? You look in like, you look at the NFL, and every year you always say Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens, regardless of who the quarterback is or whatever. They're just built for the postseason. That's just, you never want to play Baltimore. You never want to play Pittsburgh, right? You look in the NFL, NBA, and you go, oh, we got to play the Miami Heat, right? Why? They're built for the postseason. That postseason is a certain way of where styles just work, right? Like, listen, the Dolphins could have scored 80 points on me, okay? I'm sorry. That style will not work, right? You saw them in cold weather. You saw them go to Buffalo. They got ambushed. You saw them go to Philly on a Sunday night. They got destroyed, or a Monday night, whatever it was. That style does not work. You have to run the ball. We watched weather last night in the Meadowlands, and this is only December, Jen. What was it? 26 degrees, wind.
It's only November. Yeah, not even
November. Right, November. You can't, what's that called? You can't, just go in there and say, I'm going to throw it around. You got bad weather. You got rain. You got snow. And defense travels. Your defense is going to show up every week. Defense wins championships.
All right, we got Mr. Siciliano checking in. Hello, Mr. Sis, and thank you for checking in. And I love that he's playing devil's advocate here. He's telling you to stop. The NFL is a passing game. The 3 and a cloud of dust days are long gone.
I definitely disagree with him, because the best 2 teams in football are the Eagles and the 49ers. They're both run-first teams. They run the ball and play defense. The best 2 teams in college football, Michigan and Georgia, they are run-first teams. They run it and play defense. I mean, you have, the Washington Huskies are 13-0. Yeah. First off, they got to get by Oregon. They play one of those 2 teams night. It's not going to happen. You see the movie every year. You see it we're going to let's get back to the NFL of just, all right, Kenny's Giants. Oh, the Buffalo Bills, the K-gun offense against the Giants. Giants shut them down, right? The Giants, you got the Patriots undefeated, Brady and Moss and Hernandez and Gronk. Giants shut them down. Denver Broncos, look at statistically, this 2013 offense, unbelievable. Manning, Welker, Demarius, Decker, Moreno, all those guys, Julius, get into the Super Bowl, absolutely blasted by a run team. It always happens. It always happens. You have to be a physical team. Then you're going to go and say, well, Kansas City. Well, look at Kansas City. Look at how Kansas City won those Super Bowls, right? If you look, especially on that road going there, that year, Andy Reid, basically, they became a run-first team. They became more physical. They've transformed. The Chiefs have transformed now. The Chiefs are more of a physical team. I mean, listen, I still think they're soft, but they're trying to be a physical team where they don't have to sling it 60 times, and they play with a defense. It always works out like that. Give me the better defense and the better run game, and you're going to be in those, especially come big-time playoff games.
All right, let me catch up on some of these comments. We got Kenny saying he thinks it's more important that the team is built to win on the road because they'll be able to play outdoors in the cold weather stadiums.
Absolutely.
All right, we got Zoli saying that the team is 100% primed for the postseason, run the football, control both lines of scrimmage, have an experienced quarterback, and make the necessary plays. And then we've got Trevor saying Vance Joseph said it early in the season. He had one of the best groups of pass rushers that he has had in a while. Benito, 7 sacks. Jonathan Cooper, 5.5 sacks. Baron Browning, 3 sacks.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, again, my apologies to Vance. I just didn't think he would be able to handle it. But who was I yelling for all season, Jen?
For what?
Defensive coordinator.
Who did you want?
Yeah,
Rex Ryan.
Rex Ryan. And I wanted Rex Ryan because of the style. And you did not see this style early on. The past couple weeks, I'm starting to see this style. More blitzing, especially in that game versus Dobbs in that last series, sending the house, they're getting to the quarterback. That's how you win. an attacking defense. And we're becoming an attacking defense. And I love how Singleton and Jewel, like those guys tackle, it's like an aggressive tackle. It looks different. It looks, I'm going to be honest, 49er-ish. It does. It looks like that kind of defense where, hey, you're going to get 6 yards, but you're going to get, you're going to get, lit up getting that 6 yards. And when you're running the ball and you're running over the middle and you're saying, oh, I got to go against this defense. I mean, it's a mentality. It's the 2015 Bronco mentality that they had.
All right, let's move on to our next one. And let's talk a little bit about Russell Wilson.
Again, what can I say, Jen? We said this from the get-go. Again, my what was it? 2 years ago, I had enough. Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, Drew Lock, Bridgewater, Flacco, Case Keenum. Oh, just all backups. All back. Those guys should never be starters in the NFL. Never. And I'm just sick of it. And I said, there's 2 quarterbacks I wanted. Remember who they were?
When exactly did you want them?
Last offseason.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
When you could go get Hall of Fame franchise quarterbacks, just go get them. Because, you tried for 7 years and whatever it was, 6 or 7 years, beating around the bush and getting garbage backup quarterbacks. And it just, again, you go into a fight. Hey, I'm walking onto the field with Teddy Bridgewater and there's Patrick Mahomes. I mean, just throw the guns down and run. You're not winning that fight, right? Especially when you had Vic Fangio walking next to you. Now it's Sean Payton and Russell Wilson going against Andy Reid and Mahomes. Okay, boys, let's go. Let's duke it out now. Let's go. That's the difference, and just, oh my God, what we gave up for Russell Wilson. We gave up a first round. Are you crazy? You don't think Seattle would take him back in a heartbeat? Seattle's done. They have no quarterback. They have a backup quarterback. They have 2 backup quarterbacks. Locke and Geno's a backup quarterback. And you got Russell Wilson. You stole him. You gave him 3 players that do absolutely nothing for Seattle. And you gave up picks. And you got yourself a franchise quarterback. You went from Teddy Bridgewater to Russell Wilson. It's robbery. Absolutely highway robbery. And you know what? Look what he's doing on the field. Look at the plays he's making. There's not a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL can make that throw to Cortland Sutton in Buffalo, can make that throw to Cortland Sutton versus the Vikings, can make that throw, but besides just throw, to scramble and throw to Adam Troutman. That's why we got him. That's a franchise quarterback. That's a franchise quarterback. I don't care about stats and what I don't care. That's what I want. I want to win. And I want my guy, my franchise quarterback, to deliver and come up with big plays in the game. And he's done it all year long. Oh, like Kenny said, he fumbled. He fumbled. Who doesn't fumble? I mean, come on. Be realistic. It was a good play by Cleveland. Hey, you tip your what is like? I remember Coach Sheridan and Coach Gibbs and Coach Sheridan. The other side, they coach too. They play too. You're gonna have plays like that. But I can't be happy with Russ. It's a steal. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
I like this comment from Trevor. Trevor, I agree with this. I was never a Rodgers fan either, or I'm still not. He said, I never wanted Rodgers. He's not a team first guy. Russell Wilson is a team first guy.
I agree with that, but I mean, I think we had to do what we had to do to go get Aaron Rodgers, because it was Rodgers or Russ, because again, our quarterbacks were so bad. We had the worst quarterback room in the NFL for like four to 6 straight years. I mean, it was downright horrible. And then to go with it, the coaching that we had was even, might have been worse. So yeah, I wanted Rodgers or Russ. I'm happy that we got Russ, younger than Rodgers, more mobile than Rodgers. But either way, I would have been happy with it. But I'm ecstatic we got Russ.
All right, let's move on to the run game.
Jen, this is what gets it done in the NFL. I don't want to hear, I don't want to hear you have to throw it. No. You have to be physical. The more physical team will win the game, will win championship. It's how you win in the postseason. And our 1-2 punch of our run game of P. Ryan and Javonte Williams, I mean, it's just, for a defense, there's nothing like when you just keep getting punched in the mouth, punched in the mouth, punched in the mouth, and you're giving up 4 and 3 and 4 and 6 and 8. And now that in the fourth quarter becomes 12 and 20 and 30 because, and here's your break for 60 because you don't want to tackle this guy. And, you just sit there and you're like, oh, he's coming at me again. And now we don't have one, we have 2 of these guys. We have actually 2 of these guys. And now you bring in your home run back, McLaughlin. And now it's, when I'm wearing on you, and boom, here he comes. It's just unbelievable. Our run game is just fantastic. And how he's scheming it and how he schemes it too. And now he's adding Russ into the run game where not just Russ's scrambling ability, but the zone reads, the RPOs. But that zone read, I mean, Myles Garrett didn't have a clue how to defend it on Sunday. And that was supposedly the number one defense in football. You ran up and down the field on them. So I love our run game.
Kenny's giving props to P. Ryan and saying hardest runs I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. Hey, but again, there's nothing worse, and I wish we had Coach Breslin on. There's nothing worse that when you're a defensive coordinator or a defensive coach or whatever, head coach, or you're on defense and you can't stop the other team's run game, you're done. Because now play action, now one-on-one, you got to move guys in the box. And it's demoralizing. It's just demoralizing when a team just runs it right down your throat. And that's how you win. You control the clock, you keep your defense off the field, you keep your defense fresh. Their offense and their offensive playmakers can't do anything. And Mark Schlitz said, I heard him say it 3 times this week, you get in the mentality as a player on the other team of saying, wait a minute, we only had 1 possession in the first quarter. They took all that time up. We're only going to get it again. We only might have 3 possessions and, 3 more possessions in this half. Oh, we got to change our game plan. Here come these offensive coordinators. We're going to throw. And you get totally all out of whack. Running the ball is the way to do it in the NFL. It's always been like that. In football, any level, it's always been like that.
Trevor checking in saying, back to your comment about Aaron Rodgers, that his age concerned him as well. He didn't see him as a long-term quarterback, giving up multiple round picks in the first round pick. For a franchise quarterback, he wants it for a long-term quarterback that checks all the boxes. Kenny saying that P. Ryan has in 1 week become his guy on offense and Surtain his defensive guy. Speaking of defense, that's a great segue. Let's talk about.
But real quick, Jen, I want to get back to Trevor's point. But, I've always said this, Jen, I will never hold anything against Rodgers because all those comments for those 2 or 3 years that he flirted with, I want to go to Denver. Remember, we were going to have the draft night trade and all that. And I really think that helped with the Russell Wilson trade. I really did because, I kind of think like Seattle, I know like the deal happened after Rodgers went back to Green Bay on that same day where he agreed and stuff like that. But, there was always talk. They were, hey, we'll go get, I don't want Green Bay to get these 2 firsts and 2 seconds, then I'll do it. And it's kind of like that flirtation with Rodgers and Broncos, I think helped with that deal with Russ, so I'm never going to hold it against Rodgers. I'm a Rodgers guy. I've always been an Aaron Rodgers guy, but, I think the flirtation of him with the Broncos, I think helped us get Russ. So, hey, I'm happy it worked out like that.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Let's move on to the defense.
What can you say? This defense has from historically bad in the first couple games. And when I watched that 70-point performance versus the Dolphins was a joke and putrid, but this is the defense we thought we were going to have, right? We kept saying it's a top 5 defense. I said it every week, we're going to have this, but our top 5 defense, and the defense never showed up. Listen, it blew the lead versus the Raiders. It blew a 20-something point lead versus the Commanders. I mean, it couldn't stop the Dolphins at all. It gave up tons of, it couldn't stop the Jets, right? It couldn't stop the Jets and the run game. I think they had 200 yards of rushing on us. But what can you say? This defense is like night and day. We're aggressive. And again, a couple moves, right? You had to bench Mathis. He just could not have been the second starter. So Moreau over there is doing a nice job. Obviously, we talked about McMillan coming in as the nickel, getting rid of Gregory and Clark, getting Benito, getting Browning back. PJ Locke coming in, you know, obviously you got Surtain. Listen, I was on the linebackers all year. They still can't cover anybody, right? You still can't cover Josie Jewell and Singleton. I think that's still an area where we have to fix it because we still have a problem with the tight ends, but how those two guys are like tackling machines now. And, you know, we're an attacking defense. We are now an attacking defense. We get after the quarterback. We make big plays. We have turnovers. This defense has been lights out. So I'm very happy with this defense. I'm very happy with this defense. And you know what? This defense is carrying us. And, you know, it's what I want. I want my defense to carry us. Again, it's how you win.
Just a quick comment from Trevor here saying that it's a long shot to say that P. Ryan is the best all-around running back that the Broncos have. P. Ryan's ability to catch the ball, pass protection, the way he runs the ball is impressive.
It is, and that's a great point, Trevor. You know, his and Javante's a good back too, and I think McLaughlin with the, you know, out of the backfield, but receiving wise, I mean, P. Ryan's been a stud. He was a stud with Cincinnati in that role, but you can see it now, and he runs hard too, man. I mean, you know, he hasn't got a lot of carries, but like Kenny said, I can see, you know, the last couple games, you know, getting more, getting more carries in the run game. But as a receiver and a blocker, yeah, I think he is the overall. I think he is overall he probably does do a little of everything better than everybody else. I'm going to read Zoli's comment. Had to trim some of the fat with Gregory and Clark and let those young studs get after the quarterback and wreak havoc. Flying around the ball like our defenses used to do when we won the Super Bowl. Absolutely. Lights out. Yeah, that's the thing that makes this defense attacking, you know. And I've always said, oh, it's, you know, I want the Niner defense. I want a defense like the Cowboys. And the past couple of weeks, that's what we've been. It looks like, oh my God, look how fast this defense is. And are we going to give up big plays? Of course you're going to give up big plays. I mean, everybody does. That's the name of the game. But, you know, the more attacking you do, that's when you're going to get turnovers. That's when you're going to get sacks. That's when you're in field goal range, not in field goal range. And, you know, to Vance's credit, listen, he's got these guys playing.
All right, let's do our last topic. Let's look ahead to the Broncos' next opponent, the Houston Texans.
Yeah, Jen, I want to get to one thing real quick. I know, like, I don't know if we talked about like the playoff picture now. You know, we're 6-5, right? We went from 1-5 to 6-5, and oh my God, there's so many teams that are ahead. And Kenny asked tonight, "Oh, am I going to be scoreboard watching?" Hell yeah, I'm going to be scoreboard watching, and I'm going to be scoreboard rooting because, you know, we need the Steelers to lose, you need the Colts to lose, you need all, you know, and things will work out. There's so many games, you know, we have to just, take care. We have to take care of it now. You know, we have to just take care of this. We have to take care of our business first, and everything else will take control of it. We win out, or we win, you know, we get to 10 wins. You know, I think we'll be in the playoffs. But this week, Jen, hey, this is another playoff game. You know, Kenny said to me, every week's been a playoff game. And I think it has been a playoff game. You know, and this week might be a different one. You know, Houston is ahead of us, right? They're at home. But hey, we're not going in there. We're not intimidated going into Houston. We went in on Buffalo on a Monday night, off after buys, yada, 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 all this. We went in there, beat Buffalo. No reason why we can't win this game. It's not going to be easy. It's not. They're a good team. But hey, we got to make Stroud make mistakes. We got to get after him. We got to be able to run it. We got to be able to stop their run, make them one-dimensional. Let them throw it 40, 46 times, 47. Let them. That's fine. That's right into our game plan. Let them do it. And then we'll kill the clock. We'll run it. Russell make his big plays, and we get out of there with a win. But yeah, this is a big one. And Zoli's saying it right. Houston ahead of us. Take care of business with step one and win Sunday. That's it. This is a big. These next two games are big. We're here. We're at Houston. Then we go to the Chargers. Right? You gotta win. Listen, you gotta win one of two. It would be beautiful to win two of two. And there's no reason why we can't. These teams are beatable. The way the Broncos are playing right now, listen, this is one of the most dangerous teams in the NFL because of our style of play, and I can't see why we shouldn't win this game. We should win this game on Sunday.
All right, well, let's get some closing thoughts and maybe even a prediction for Sunday. Kenny's supposed to be dropping his stump Kurt, so just waiting on that. But while we're waiting on that, why don't you give your closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts again. This is the team I envisioned. This is the team I envisioned last year. Again, thankfully, listen, it didn't work out. That Penner group and Penner Walton group did what they had to do and get rid of Hackett. Don't give them no second chance. And they did what they had to do and go get the best head coach that's out there, and that's Sean Payton. And you could just see what Sean Payton has done in 11 games, right? It hasn't happened from game one, and that's fine. It's not, I'd rather have not have started 6-0 and now I'm 6-5. That's in the past. It's like a totally new season. We're getting better and better every game offensively, every game defensively. Our coaching staff, you're just seeing the scheme from Sean Payton of how he's lighting these other teams up because they don't know, they can't stop our running game. It's opening up for Russ and the receivers. And just hats off to Sean Payton for what he has done. And you know what, Jen? I'm going Bronco win this week. I'm going to go 26-17 Broncos over Houston this week.
Here is Kenny's Stump Kurt question. He said he's changing it to a 2-part question. Who has the longest field goal in Broncos Super Bowl history, and how long was it?
I'm going to go 62 yards. I think it was Elam and Prater, if I'm not mistaken. It's definitely Prater. I don't know if Elam. If it's two people, it should be Elam and Matt Prater, 62 yards. Let's see.
I have the answer.
Is it right?
Well, you're right with the Elam, but you're wrong with the yards, the distance. Kenny's predicting the Broncos by a score of 30-22.
I'm sorry, did he tie? Was it 63?
Nope.
64?
No, it's less.
61.
No, unless this is a typo that Kenny sent me.
It has to be a typo because I thought Prater tied it was Elam.
It was Elam, and he has 51 yards was the distance.
Oh, Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, so Elam hit that Super Bowl. He probably hit that versus the Green Bay Packers. I think if that's what he's talking about, he kicked the field goal versus the Packers. Let me double check. So that should be Super Bowl 32 with Elam. I'm sorry. I thought he meant all time.
Okay.
But it should be
Trevor saying the Texans are one of the worst teams in the NFL at running the ball. Jacksonville got after Stroud with 4 sacks and won the game.
That's it. Just completely shut them down and make them one-dimensional. Let Stroud throw it around. Hey, he's going to gain his yards, but hey, we get a couple picks, a couple turnovers there. And you know what? Let's go. Let's get up. I don't listen. He could throw for 600 yards. I just want to win. So,
all right. Zol, want to read out Zoli's prediction?
Zoli's saying Denver 27-17. Come get some. Let's go.
All right, Kenny, complimenting you. Great show. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. And good luck this week to all the Denver Broncos and all their fans.
Let's go.
Great note to end on started with the claps, and we'll end with the claps.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Right.
Thank you, Jen, for hosting, and we'll see everybody next week. Go Broncos.